It's that time of the week again as we talk BYU football with BYU team captain Connor Pay, talk about the win over Cincinnati, how he's going to spend his bye week, and a whole lot more ahead on today's show.
You are Locked On Cougars, your daily podcast on the BYU Cougars, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
What's up, everybody? I'm Jake Hatch, your host here on Locked On Cougars, your resident BYU insider. Thank you for making Locked On Cougars your first listen of the day. A lot to get to ahead on today's show, but a quick reminder, thank you for being everydayers with us here on the podcast, and hope you guys have a fantastic week. Whenever you watch and or listen to this, please continue to subscribe, rate, and review. Do all those things to help us build the audience on this platform, both YouTube and podcast-wise, and thank you in advance for the support of doing that. It's time now to welcome in Connor Pay, team captain for the BYU football program and our weekly guest here on the show. Connor, what's up?
How's it going, Jake? Good to see you, man.
Good to see you. So 4-1 on the season. You guys have hit the bye week finally. Guys, we'll start here. When you guys look at the season ahead, do you guys really go game by game, or is there some thought ahead of the season like, okay, where could we pick up wins here and there? Do you guys do that? Because we do that in the media and also as fans all the time.
No, it's always just next game because so much can change week to week. Mm-hmm. And so a lot of times looking farther ahead than your next game isn't very fruitful. So, we kind of just focus right now. All our energy is focused on TCU.
Now, how does it feel, though, to be 4-1 and know that, hey, you're off to a pretty good start, all things considered, this season, though?
Good. It feels good. I think especially going into the bye week, being 4-1, that's something you can be proud of in our first, season in the Big 12. And so kind of getting near that halfway point and in a pretty good spot and getting a chance to rest, recuperate, recover for the next section of our conference schedule. So, we're definitely proud of where we're at.
Now, I wanted to talk to you about the Cincinnati game for a minute here. You guys ended up winning that game 35-27, but Kalani Sitake after the game said he wanted you guys to finish that game better. And he talked about the fact that he had the snap go over the head of Keaton Slovis when you guys were on the doorstep of potentially going up 42-20. Was that the message? Was he right when he said that, hey, we need to finish games better?
Yeah, I think we definitely do because we had two opportunities really on offense to end that game. And we didn't get it done on either of them. And, then in between those two, then the offense or the defense goes up and gives up a touchdown. Mm-hmm. And that's a position they should have never been in the first place. We should have just been able to end the game or have scored again on that drive that you mentioned. And so, because there were flashes for us, especially of what we want to be as an offense, and I think just doing that more consistently to finish out the game is, I think he hit the nail on the head. There was just so many positives to build on. It would have been nice to just keep building on those and finish it out a little better.
Now, 29 minutes of that first half. I was watching this game, and I know that thousands of the BYU fans were either there in the stadium. And it was rough. I'll be honest. It was rough watching you guys offensively in particular.
Yeah.
But all of a sudden, you guys get the ball back. I think it was Keelan Marion returns that kick to like the 15 or 17-yard line, something like that. You have 36 seconds to work with, and I'm like, all right, let's see what they can do. They'll probably try one big pass, see what they can get going. And then 4 plays later, you guys are in the end zone. What happened?
Yeah, no, that was a huge drive for us because we were sputtering a little bit. And just things were just off, especially in the passing game early. I feel like especially on that first drive early on, we actually established the run pretty good. We're getting chunk yards on each carry, and for some reason the pass game just wasn't quite clicking. And so that drive was huge to be able to go out and execute a few plays, get it in the end zone, and then come out and strike first in the third quarter to go up by 2 scores. So that was a huge point in the game. And at least in my time here, we've never had a scenario where it's been like, we can't go score here. It doesn't matter how much time's on the clock. We're going to try to get the ball in the end zone. And 2 minutes has been something we've been pretty good at in all my years here. And so it was no surprise for us, to go, okay, boom, hit that first completion, get up there, run another play, boom, hit another one, call a timeout, run another play, and then finish it off with that touchdown pass to Darius. So,
by the way, that play to Darius, what an incredible play design. I know that you're an offensive lineman, so you're trying to do but have you rewatched that play and how well it was executed?
Yeah, it was executed really well. Those kind of natural screens that took place by the two outside receivers and let Darius kind of slip away on a little bit of a delayed out and up. That was a really cool play.
At some point, do you think that Aaron Roderick would ever entertain like making Kingsley or somebody like an eligible tackle and running a play like that for them?
I don't know. I've been trying to get a play where I throw the ball every year, every single year. And A-Rod and I draw it up every single year. We're like, okay, this is how we could do it. This is how we could do it. And then it just never ends up happening. So I don't know. I think, would he do it? Yes. He comes up with all sorts of stuff all the time. We just haven't gotten a chance to.
Okay, fair enough. Maybe we'll keep our eye. I want to see number 70 slinging a pass down the
field. So do I. I don't know if that one's going to happen. The Kingsley one's probably a little more realistic, but.
Just overall, how are you guys feeling after that game against Cincinnati? Are you guys feeling like, okay, we've accomplished what we wanted to accomplish, or is there still more to be done in your mind?
I mean, there's definitely still more to be done in the grand scheme of things, looking at it kind of in retrospect. But you have one job in this, and that's to win, and that's what we did. And so we're proud of that. We're happy with it. Okay, maybe we didn't throw the ball as good as we wanted to early. Okay, we won. Maybe we didn't run the ball as well at the end of the game as we should have. Okay, we won. And so there's kind of has to be you have all these underlying things that like, okay, these are things we need to attack, things we need to fix under the overarching umbrella of winning and losing, right? And so but we're all happy, obviously, because we won. But we also still have the understanding that there's so much we can improve on, which is exciting in a lot of ways. To be 4-1 in the season, have beaten some good teams, and there's still so much we can get better at. That is exciting for us because it kind of gives us a vision of where we can go.
Well, in the immortal words of the great Al Davis, obviously longtime owner of the Oakland and Las Vegas Raiders, it's just win, baby. Simple as that.
Just win.
It's all that really matters. All right, I got a couple more questions about the Cincinnati game. And also talk a little bit bye week. We'll get to that here in just a minute. Real quick, need to get a word in, though, on one of our great sponsors. It's our friends over at Bird Dogs. Of course, Bird Dogs, are here to make you guys look good. They have stretch khaki shorts that are designed to fit slimmer through the thigh and leg, giving you a truly sculpted look. The best part about this, they do the exact same thing as Lululemon, but fit way better, and they fit way better than regular shorts. They're made of stiff, restricting cotton. They have fixed that issue by inventing cloud knit fabric that makes it look just like khaki, but stretches so you get that way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice any of the movement. Bird Dogs also uses anti-stink sweat-wicking fabric that keeps you cool and dry all day long. The best part is they are functional for any type of occasion out there, whether you're going out to golf, on a date, out for the night, pool workout, lounging, anything and everything. They've got it for you guys. So go to birddogs.com/lockedoncollege right now and enter the promo code lockedoncollege at checkout for a free Bird Dogs water bottle with your order. That's birddogs.com/lockedoncollege for a free water bottle at checkout. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off. We promise you. Continuing on now with Connor Pay right here on Locked On Cougars. And Connor, I rewatch every one of these games each week that we do the podcast. And I go back and I just kind of try and watch it again to get this idea of how I feel about the game in the moment after having watched or been in person at the game. And then also how it may change or morph after the game is over. And rewatching this game against Cincinnati, my personal opinion is it was the best cohesive rushing attack I have seen from you guys this season. I want your thought. What was it better, or what am I off base?
No, I agree with you, and especially on that first drive. As an O-line, we really wanted to establish that early because this is a good run defense. they were good, and two of those D linemen are NFL players, and so we knew we were going to have our work cut out for us. But we came out with our piss hot on that first drive, and we really wanted to get that going, and we did successfully. And had a good 10 or 12 yard run, then 3 or 4 yards, then 10 more, and then that freeze, that speed option play was one block away.
Yeah.
That was the look we wanted. But it was just one block out there on the edge away from being another great play that probably would have continued that drive. Then we threw a couple incompletions and unfortunately had to punt. But just kind of at the start of that game, we were like, okay, it felt a little more like we got our swagger back a little bit as an O-line. And kind of it just felt better. It felt like people were on the same page. Then, we kind of sputtered a little bit for, a lot of reasons there in the first and second quarter. I mean, didn't have the ball a lot for one. And when we did, went 3 and out, unfortunately. And so up until that 2-minute drive. And then I think we came out and, ran the ball well again in the third quarter. Hit a couple runs, hit a few passes. Then, bam, we have a nice 25 whatever yard touchdown run by LJ. And, I mean, up until really the bad snap and then a few of those kind of plays to just kill the clock at the end of the game where we lost yards on those just in an effort to run the clock down as much as we could. We without those few plays, we would have been well over 100 rushing yards. And I think before the bad snap, we were averaging almost 4 to 5 yards a carry. And so those couple negative plays there at the end kind of statistically pulled it down a little bit. But, I think we got a little bit back to where we want to be. And I thought it was a really positive thing for us as a group just to build on, because that was the most challenging run defense we had faced up until that point. And it was, the group that we had, at least been able to establish the run the best against, which was encouraging for us, obviously.
Now, go ahead.
No, that was it. Go ahead.
Well, so I love the fact you use the term "get your piss hot" because that's an old Holiday. Were you there for Coach Guy Holiday, when he was there? Did you guys ever cross paths?
I know who he is.
Okay.
I don't know him personally.
He was the one that he used it on social media all the time, and it was just absolutely awesome line. And so I'm glad that it lives on in the BYU football program. At that, I'm sure it lives on in other places as well. But it's one that I will forever associate him and BYU with, because he used that term all the time. But then you also talked about the fact that LJ Martin, he bust that touchdown run. It was 3rd and 13. I'm trusting. I'm watching the game, and I'm like, all right, they're going to run the football here. They're going to set up for a field goal. And all of a sudden, he reels off. It was like 25, 27 yards to the end zone. What in the world happened on that play?
I think we got a good look. And really we weren't even going for the field goal now. We wanted to set up. We wanted to set up because we were kind of where we were at. It was a long field goal, a little bit in no man's land, kind of just right on the edge. And we knew a good play, get us 7-8 yards would set us up for a good chance to go for it on 4th down.
Okay.
Or if it was just a little bit outside where we wanted to be, kicking much easier field goal.
Okay.
And so, but we got the look we wanted. They did a little bit of a stunt on the D line, where, the nose guard kind of went to Paul a little bit, which freed me up to climb to, the Will linebacker who was bailing with a route. And so, he was already 10, 15 yards down the field in coverage. And so I was able to go and just get enough of him to where he couldn't bring LJ down. And then LJ did the rest, bouncing off that safety. And, I mean, our job, if we're doing our job perfectly as an O-line, the running back gets clean to the safety.
Yeah.
Right? That's our job. And sometimes it doesn't always work out, but they're on scholarship to break tackles. Right. And so, LJ did exactly what he was supposed to do on that. We were able to get him free to the safety. There was great blocking on the perimeter too. and he was able to break a tackle and get into the end zone. So.
Well, and see, that's the fun part about it is when you guys block stuff up like that, it's awesome to see it do it. And you talk about the fact that players have to make individual plays. Running backs have to break tackles. It's the simple math. You have a one-on-one. In the ideal world, a running back will have a one-on-one matchup, and the idea is, okay, you beat that guy, you're gonna have a good chance. That's exactly what LJ did on that individual play. So the ecstasy of that play as compared to, and you've been a center. When you snap a ball over a guy's head, there's probably no worse feeling as a center, I'm guessing.
No, that's the worst because I mean, it's so isolating, because it's just like, well, you screwed the pooch on this one, and everybody knows it was you.
Yeah,
and there's no way around it, and it's a devastating play too, just because okay, maybe you hold somebody or something like that. Okay, 10-yard penalty, replay the down. This is, you could lose who knows how many yards on a play like this, and you lose the down. So, it's tough. And I know Paul was pissed about it, but, it happens. It happens to the best of us. My first snap ever as a starting center was at Utah State in 2021. Midway through the year, James had just gotten hurt. My very first snap ever went right over Baylor's head.
Oh, geez.
And thank heaven, Utah State was offsides on that play. So we ended up getting 5 yards, and I never had a snap like that again. Thank heaven. But so I got bailed out by the football gods. But it's kind of a gut-wrenching feeling to kind of turn around and you see the quarterback running back and diving on the ball, and you're just like, oh crap.
Well, okay, here's the thing. Do you know when you do it? Does that make sense? Because I here's the question. Like, did Paul know he did it in the moment, or did he turn around and like, oh?
No. It's like, because, I mean, sometimes when you release it, you can be like, okay, that one might be a little high. You can just kind of feel it.
Yeah.
But sometimes when you're in the heat of the moment, you've snapped so many times, it's just muscle memory.
Got it.
For whatever reason, one just got away from him on that one. And, he had no idea we were just blocking the play. And so, that's a tough one. I've been there. And so, that's a tough one. But, and every center in the world has done it, at least once. And, I'm glad he did it in the win. Now he can never do it again.
Sure, that's the good point. Yeah, you still got the W, all things considered. Now, I'm going to ask you about, you talked about earlier about your 2-minute offense, and you guys feel very comfortable in it. I totaled it up, but they actually mentioned it at one point during the game. Your 4 touchdown drives offensively you guys had in that game. Do you know how much time it took off the game clock for you guys to score all 4 of those TDs by chance?
Couldn't have been more than 7 or 8 minutes.
7 minutes, 22 seconds. Like, I know that people are going to be like, okay, well, time of possession. If you're scoring 4 touchdowns, 28 points in less than 8 minutes of game time, that's pretty darn efficient.
Yeah. No, I mean, it is. And the one thing that is interesting is we are an efficient offense right now. When it comes to like points per play, we're up there. As one of the better offenses, and it's just sustaining those drives. We just need more plays. We need more snaps. In the games, we gotta eliminate these 3 and outs.
What's the biggest thing for that? Is it because I know they talk all the time. I've heard from your coaches all the time. You guys want to get ahead of the sticks. In an ideal, is it what, 2nd and 5? Like what would set up you guys up for success in your mind to avoid more 3 and outs?
Yeah, I think definitely not getting behind the sticks is probably the biggest thing, because our conversion rate, on 3rd and medium to 3rd and short is really good.
Okay.
It's when you're consistently in 3rd and 8, 9, 10, that's when it gets a little dicey. It's a little challenging to convert those. And so, anytime you can get chunk yards, even if it's just 3 or 4 on 1st down, then that sets you up to, as long as you just don't go backwards. Yeah. Right. And it's just, if you could just get positive yards on each play, with a minimum of maybe 2 or 3 on 1st down, get you a 2nd and 7. Get a few more yards to get you to a 2nd and 3 or a 3rd and 3 or 4. That's way more manageable than, a 3rd and 9. And so I think that's definitely something we're trying to do better as an offense, is just getting ahead of the sticks and not staying out of those 3rd and long situations.
All right, we will wrap up this edition of BYU Football with Connor Pay here in just a moment. We'll talk a little bit about the bye week, obviously. No game this week, but we'll talk about what the plans are for the rest of the week. We'll get to all that here in just a moment. Real quick, let's get a word in on our friends over at FanDuel. Of course, you can snap into action with the NFL this season with FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Right now, new customers, you get bet $200 in bonus bets guaranteed when you place a $5 bet. $200 in bonus bets, win or lose. It's simple as that. If you've been thinking about joining FanDuel, there's no better time to get on the action than doing it right now. And the app is really easy to use, my friend. There's a wide range of betting options, including spreads, player props, over-unders, and many, many more. So take advantage today. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon and kick off the NFL season with our friends at FanDuel, their official partner of the NFL. Today's show is also brought to you by our friends over at UCCU. We've been talking about UCCU for months now. They have the mobile banking app that pays your entire family to learn about money. Of course, we may not always know everything we need to know about money, but Learn and Earn is what they're calling it. It breaks down those financial topics into fun, bite-sized educational games like quizzes and trivia. And every time a member of your family completes a topic, you earn points that accrue and can be redeemed for gift cards at stores like Amazon, Apple, Sephora, Walmart, Nike, and many, many more. There's age-appropriate content for every member of the family who can compete against one another and track their progress on leaderboards, and is available inside the UCCU mobile banking app, so you can play at any time, anywhere. The more you play, the more you learn, and of course, the more you learn, the more you earn. It's all courtesy of UCCU. Learn and Earn, part of UCCU's award-winning Be Money Smart youth banking program, helping kids, teens, and parents have fun while becoming financially literate together. It's all courtesy of UCCU. Love where you bank. All right, wrapping things up on this edition of Locked On Cougars, BYU Football with Connor Pay right here on Locked On Cougars. And when it comes to the bye week, Connor, I hear all the time, you talked about it, you need to relax a little bit, you need to recover, you need to rejuvenate a little bit. But what's the biggest thing that you want to accomplish during the bye week in your mind?
I think, just building upon the positives from the Cincinnati game.
Okay.
Because we're going to, you can't just take a whole bye week off. You'll come back on Monday sluggish, out of touch, and you have to spend that whole week getting back to where you were rather than moving forward. And so we're going to practice hard the first half of this week and then kind of taper it off the back half of this week. But I think just working on those initial first and second down plays and getting ahead of the sticks and, just improving our consistency as an offense, because there's times where we just aren't playing very well. And then there's times where, we'll go on a 4 or 5 drive stretch where we look like the best offense in the country. And so I think it's just closing the gap between those two things and improving our consistency is, I think, going to be a huge thing that we want to accomplish this week, where, in the bye week, it's a good chance to get ahead on TCU, do a little bit of self-scout, kind of find your tendencies, strengths, weaknesses, that kind of stuff, and really kind of pinpoint some of those things and help close that gap a little bit.
Well, you may have already answered my next question. I was going to ask you, how much of this week is you guys working on yourselves versus actual preparation for TCU?
I think it'll be split pretty evenly. Today was mainly, focusing on us, just because, the coaches need a couple days to kind of get through the TCU tape and kind of formulate their game plan. Because normally on a normal week, we would just have a walkthrough on Mondays. We wouldn't have a practice, just so the coaches have that extra time to get the game plan going. Then, we call it Bloody Tuesday on Tuesdays, where it's a full padded practice, balls to the wall, like going for it. And that's what tomorrow will be. Even though it'll only be like a little bit of TCU game plan, it won't be as much, just because we have double the time to do it. So the coaches are going to do their due diligence and prepping the game plan. So
Bloody Tuesday. Who came up with that?
I don't know who came up with it originally. That's just always something, we've just kind of, I don't know. It's just kind of always been that way. Bloody Tuesday. That's what it is. It's kind of it's a brutal day. But it's a necessary day.
It makes sense, but it's a unique name. I've never heard it referred to as that. So that's awesome. I guess some information we learned on today's show, obviously. Now you talk about tapering off the back half of the week. You guys do have some downtime, obviously. What will you be doing with your downtime this week?
It'll be a good chance for me to go watch my brother and little brother play. I think that's because I haven't been able to go in the last few weeks. I've either been out of town, and then this last week we played on a Friday night, so it'll be fun to go watch him. And I think I'm gonna go spend a little time with family. Go see my sister. Because she don't get to see her very often, and kind of just spend time with my family is kind of the way that I like to kind of rejuvenate and recuperate, just because my time with them is very limited during the season.
Sure. You talk about going to see your brother play. I was going to ask you this, so your dad's a coach as well at Lone Peak. Obviously, your brother also starting offensive lineman. So was the entire family watching your brother play? Were they watching Lone Peak football?
No. So my mom came to my game.
Okay.
And then my dad came for the second half of our game because their game was over.
Got it.
So
Okay.
because they started at 7, we didn't start till 8:15. They finished around 9:30. So my dad was able to race over after their game and catch the second half of my game. Then Austin didn't come though, and I didn't expect him to. Pretty beat after playing his own game and getting smacked. So he was probably pretty frustrated and probably just wanted to go home anyway. So I don't blame him. But yeah, no, we were split until the second half.
Okay, I was going to ask about that because obviously when you have those Friday games, it can be tough. People have got to decide what they're going to do. I just wondered if your family was watching your brother play in person while having you up on a phone or something like that. But good to hear that. Good to be there in person, at least part of it. That's always a positive with regards to that. Now, also, you talk about spending time with family. When it comes to the pay family dynamic, what do you guys like to do when you're together?
Well, honestly, as funny as it is, a lot of it is spent watching football.
Okay, so it's still football. Okay, got it.
Yeah. So it was fun on, on Saturday and on Sunday. After watching the conference sessions and stuff, we were watching football.
Okay.
And so anything honestly, we're not super pressed about what it is as long as we're just doing it together. All right, as long as it's just something everybody can agree on that they want to do. And thankfully, my mom loves sports and loves watching football. So it's pretty easy. Like on Sundays, we'll all sit down and watch. Like this week, we were able to watch Blake play in his first start ever against Puka, and then watching Zach play last night. It was a lot of fun. So.
Well, that's awesome. It's good that your mom's a good sport about it, obviously, because football is
she loves it.
That's good. Trust me. I was just thinking about that. I'm like, your dad was an offensive lineman who played in the NFL. You're obviously on your way to the NFL. You've got 2 younger brothers who have looks like pretty prolific careers in their own right. I'm like, if your mom does not like football, she's a really, really good sport. Always consider.
Yeah, basketball is her favorite, but she does love football, specifically March Madness.
All right. Well, I think all of us
loves March Madness.
I think all of us March Madness is our favorite. Let's be real.
It's true. It's true.
Now, a couple other things I want to ask you real quick. You talked last week about your dad getting mad at you guys during conference. Did it happen this year? Did he fall asleep on you guys?
Oh, did it ever? Hold on now. Hold up.
Okay. Oh, we got a picture of this now? All right. Let's see what we got.
He's going to be upset that I show this picture.
Oh, there you go. You got it.
In the conference session.
If you're listening to this on the regular podcast feed, you're not going to see that picture, but it's worth checking out the YouTube version to see that alone.
And if you notice what is in his hand, he is breaking down film for their next game.
Trying to multitask.
Conference. He's multitasking, which he was still paying attention. Paying attention.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I was playing solitaire on my phone, and he snapped a picture of me and was like, "Oh, I caught you playing solitaire." And I was like, "Okay, game on." So the second he fell asleep, I got my phone out and took a picture.
And then also, early favorite talk from conference for you.
Oh man, I mean, President Nelson's was great, obviously. I really liked Bishop Waddell's talk.
Okay.
And I would say either Elder Oak or President Oaks or Bishop Waddell's talk kind of tops it for me.
Well,
so far.
Hey, trust me, and we'll all go back. Obviously, we all do. But the whole Think Celestial thing, it's stuck in my mind. Obviously,
Oh yeah, that was the joke going around the locker room today.
I'm sure.
If someone said a cuss word or something, hey, think Celestial.
Hey, okay, here's the thing. Do the guys that aren't necessarily members of the church, do they understand the whole dynamic of that? You have to clue them in.
They figure it out. I mean, we explained it to them. Like, obviously, they're forced to take religion classes at BYU. They know who President Nelson is, and they know that it's important and stuff. And so, a good chunk of them watched conference anyways. And so, like, hey, think Celestial. That was going around the locker room today. What other college football team in America could you find that?
Very few, if any, honestly.
SVU, maybe, if you even count that as a college.
Yeah, even though they're D3 or whatever they are. Are they NAIA? I don't remember what.
I don't know. They're smaller than 80% of the high schools here, though.
Yep. So yeah, I'd have a hard time counting that.
Yeah.
So yeah, probably a good point. Yeah, there's literally no other football program in the country. if what was then Rick's College, now BYU Idaho, still had a football program, they'd probably be the only other one.
It's true.
All right, so there you go.
It's true.
All right, Connor, any parting words of wisdom you've got for us outside of Think Celestial?
I don't think I can say it better than President Nelson, so
we'll leave it.
Think Celestial, everybody.
All right.
Especially when it comes to your opinions of BYU football.
Well, I like that. All right. Well,
faith, hope, and charity.
Yes, exactly.
In your Twitter comments.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome. All right. Well, we will reconvene next week. We'll talk about you guys renewing a contract with TCU, obviously, Old Mountain West and WAC rival. We'll talk about that next week. But Connor, thanks as always for taking the time.
Yeah, of course. Thank you.
All right, that's Connor Pay. I'm Jay Catch. Of course, a big thank you to all of you for making Locked On Cougars your first listen today. Thank you to all of you who are everydayers with us here on the podcast as well. Until next time, until tomorrow, actually, I should say, have a great rest of your day. This has been the Locked On Cougars podcast. See ya.